I am on
And there's
one of those. You just push the button.
There's three. There's automatic, manual, and then semi-automatic. Most supercars have semi-automatic. Or there's either automatic, semi-auto, and manual. I think semi-auto might be manual and auto mixed together.
Right.
What?
Sorry. What were you going to say?
No, it's just.
so what is manual? What does that
Manual,
mean?
we use the gear stick to change the gears.
My dad has that one. He growls at me all the time for putting it in the wrong gear or going too fast or something.
Yeah. And that's one time I basically asked my mum if I could drive her car, because I usually take her car, spin around this big field at our badge. And one time I accidentally forgot to put that no, not the brakes. You know that as
The handbrake.
yeah, like it's kind of like a long stick.
Yeah, it's a handbrake.
Yeah, I forgot to put that down when I tried to turn it. Basically, did like a little skid on the grass.
And you know what you do? You know what you don't do with the handbrake?
What?
You do not. I've never done it before, but I've seen videos of it. You don't accidentally forget to put the handbrake on when you're at the top of the hill, because all your car will do is go wee.
Roll back.
It will roll back and go really fast.
Splendid. Yeah, but when I do like the 35 random test, I don't know when you guys do it, it can be pretty hard, but right now I'm like getting to it, but knowing that it's going to be different from what I'm used to, it's going to be hard, but this morning I got like 10 out of 10, like all of them right.
Oh, that's good.
But knowing that it's going to be probably different to the one that I'm used to, it's going to be a whole new ball game.
Are you getting a rewriter for your one, or are you just
Yeah.
doing it?
Yeah, but like just earlier in this period, it was just like knowing like, oh god, which one was which. Like was it this question like say like how long you need to give out smoke, like how much your vehicle needs to give out smoke, like show smoke for just 10 seconds. Or something like say when your tire rear tire blows out, what will happen to your vehicle or something like that. It's,
Yeah.
What kind of cars would you guys want to get when you get your license? I want to get a Ute.
I want to get a Ford Mustang GT.
I don't know my car.
Well,
I'm gonna get like you off the ground.
Nice.
Oh, a working one.
So a Ute.
This one, a working car.
This one that's not broken.
Just a car, just a nice functioning car.
It's a car.
You're digging?
Not too sure yet.
And what are you in it?
Maybe like a small Toyota,
What?
like a small Toyota, fit into like tight car parks.
Oh yes.
now that would be, if you wanted to fit in tight car parks, that would be a smart car. Oh, right, smart cars can fit in any space.
Are you sure?
Smart void spaces. Smart cars are tiny. They're like probably at least a metre long.
Shay, what kind of car do you would want to get?
What colour would you like?
Blue.
Blue car.
Hey, that's my favorite color.
Shay, would you like a car like your mum or one of your family members?
I think when I get my license, my grandparents are gonna give me their old car because they got a new car when my nana's parents sadly passed away. Because you know, like when you're like I know this may seem sad, but when your parents sadly passed away, their insurance or money goes to you or something like that.
Yeah, so insurance is something from it. Insurance is basically if something happens to the person that has insurance, it's sort of like a will thing.
Yeah.
So it like goes to you or goes to the bank or goes to your friend or something. I don't know, to a family member maybe.
Yeah.
Because you know something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But do you have to, don't they, like people who pass away, don't they like write the people's name?
Yeah, I think that basically, I remember my dad saying that if anything were to say to him per se, all my my insurance would go to like his children, which would be me and my sister.
Do you know what the word is for what you guys are talking about?
Inheritance.
Inheritance. Well done. So what do you think that means, Melia?
Your family leaves something behind, like, for per se, my granddad, he left his automatic ute to my dad, and they left, my grandparents, they left money, heaps of money, thousands of money in bank accounts for all their kids and future family members.
Right.
So that's what you're talking about, Ajana, when you talked about writing it down. It's people write down who they're going to leave stuff to, and it might not be money, like you talked about.
Car, clothing, house.
Jewellery. Has anyone ever been left anything in inheritance when someone? Yeah.
Two teapots there, and I think it's got other lights and couches and that.
My dad, he got some of the old army toys that my great-granddad had, because he was in the army and he got to take all home vehicles, guns and stuff, and he collected all these like toys from the army, and my dad got some of that stuff.
Cool.
Oh yeah, speaking of toys, when my granddad passed away, my nana basically gave me these like tiny little trucks and cars when he was younger, because she thought it would be something nice for me to remember him by. Yeah, and I just put it like it's just in like this small little box, and I just put it on top of my drawers where I put all my clothes in.
So you. I was just going to ask, you getting a car from your grandparents?
Yeah, my mom's side.
Okay, and is that automatic or manual?
I don't know.
It's probably
What
a manual.
I'm sorry. What type of car is it?
I don't know, but I know it's a purple car.
Is it small?
I think it's like the average size car where you can fit like 4 people in, or maybe
So it's like a small one.
yeah, or maybe like 5 if you count like the middle bit.
Yeah, so a small car.
Yeah.
How old were they?
How old are my grandparents?
Yeah. An old age, right?
On the ground of basically like with grey hair, and my granddad is slowly losing hair.
Wait, so what is your, what's your granddad?
Yeah.
So that's your
Mom's dad.
mum's dad.
Yes.
Okay. So how old is your mum? You don't know your mother's age?
Hey, things happen, alright? I don't keep track of people's age.
Okay,
But
so I'm assuming the car would be
Well, given that
a
she's
manual would be.
yeah, probably manual, but given the fact that she's the youngest sibling, so I say she's
Oh! In
in her 30s or 40s. I'm definitely betting on 40s.
Okay, so she's the youngest and had siblings before her.
Yeah, she has like 3 eldest sisters. Like 2 are living in Australia and 1's living in here in Plymouth. In a farm.
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia. From Australia, where all the kangaroos and alligators are.
There are no alligators. There are crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
You can only find alligators in the Americans.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
good
it
Australian
would
accent.
be a manual.
Oh.
It would be a manual.
Yeah, I would probably say it is a manual.
How can you tell if it's a manual or automatic?
I don't know.
And it basically has like.
Yeah. So you're saying, so basically, how many sections does the gear stick have? Does it have 3 or more, 4 or more, 5 or more?
Sorry, what did you say?
So the gear stick, so that's next to that's next to the long.
Oh, that
Yeah.
like
The
to
one
like
to
park,
change the gears.
reverse, or drive.
Yeah. So does it have
Yeah.
does it have drive, reverse?
I think I
But does it have more than that? Does it like have D2, D1?
I don't know. I've never personally. I think I have been in it, but it's been like a long time since I've been in that car. Like now they basically drive around with. Oh no, I think my granddad still drives it, but they have like a nice red one, like a nice new red car since they bought it with the inheritance from my nana's parents because they used to live on a farm.
How old? Do you know how old it is? The car?
How much do you think has been used?
Probably for like about a couple of years, I would probably bet.
Does anybody in the street have any like supercars?
Supercars?
They're like for really fast cars,
Like you mean like a, you mean like a Ferrari kind of thing?
yeah, Ford Mustang, Ferrari, Lamborghini.
Are you one of those people? Do you have one of those cars?
No.
No.
Baxter,
Oh, no,
can I
I'm
just
not
jump in for a minute? We're talking about manual cars, and I saw that Baxter was trying to explain to us what a manual car was, because you were actually showing us. Can you describe again, because, well, you did know, because you started talking, and then you got interrupted by someone else. So you were actually showing us what a manual car is. Can you re-explain that for us? Because I don't think everyone here gets it, what a manual is, and I think you might.
Do I have to?
Yes, you do have to, because I think you might know.
Well, manual is gear stick, and to change the gears you've got to actually
Yeah.
when you're driving.
Yeah. So you.
Up and down.
Yeah, it's got forward, reverse, drive, station. You move into the different gears.
So do you know what you do with your feet when you've got a manual? Who knows what you do with your feet? Nate.
I have to put the clutch in.
There you go. So you guys do know. So when you're changing gears with a manual car, can you explain again, Nate, what you have to do?
Sometimes you have to put the clutch in, then change the gear.
So how many feet would you be using when you're driving a manual car? Two. Okay. So did you say 2 as well, Tegan? So what does Mum drive, Tegan? Automatic or manual? Automatic. So how many feet do you use when you're driving an automatic car? Have you got any clues? 1. Yeah. So it goes from, there are 2 pedals that you use. Do you know what those 2 pedals are?
The brakes and gas.
Sometimes my mum used one, like when she changed her feet to the other.
Herself, Mama.
That's what I do. I just use 1 foot, and because I've got an automatic. But so with a manual, what's that?
On each side.
In each side, perfect, Shay, awesome. And with a manual, because Baxter's shown us that you've got to change the gears, Nate's explained that you've got to put the clutch in, but you've also got to have the brake and the accelerator. So there's actually 3 pedals for an automatic, for a manual. Which car do you think, thinking about it, would be the more difficult one to learn to drive, and why? Which car do you think would be more difficult, and why? Baxter?
It's a manual.
Why?
You gotta learn all the different gears and how to not funny hop and get used to it.
And how many pedals have you got? You've got 3. You're going to have to use how many feet? 2. When you use an automatic, you said Mum just uses 1 foot. Yeah, that's the difference. So
That's why you learn the manual first before you drive a
Well,
automatic.
You don't have
Or like,
Yeah. Carry on. No, you don't have to.
Like, what the thing is, like, what I've heard is that if you learn with a manual, if you learn straight away with a manual, you know what you're doing with an automatic normally. Because a manual
Has more.
is more.
It is going to depend on what you have, though, isn't it? Like, do you think anyone would just buy a manual car because it would be better for you to learn manual? For some people, if they had the coin, eh? Have you watched The Amazing Race?
Yeah.
Oh my God. On The Amazing Race, every single series, because I really love The Amazing Race, every single series, there is an issue with cars and drivers. You know how they get given a car and they have to drive it?
Yes.
And they can't switch the car out. What do you think the problem might be?
I don't know how to use manual.
So hands up, because we're sort of interrupting, and you two were both talking. So you guys are going to have to look just to make sure that you're not interrupting. Ajana?
They don't know how to use it
Why?
because they might not have one of those cards.
Yeah,
They've been taught to use it, but they haven't been taught to use it.
they haven't been taught to use it. How would that affect them in The Amazing Race if they're going, oh my God, I don't know what to do?
What if they crash?
What? Yeah, exactly. What if they crashed?
People have crashed.
Yeah, some people have crashed. And if they're in a race and they're sitting in the car going, what?
Like which pedal do I step on?
What's going to happen to their race, Nate?
They're going to like come last.
Yeah, so they're going to come last. So if you can, my advice would be to learn to drive in a...
Automatic manual.
I'd probably go manual if you could, but it's not the end of the world if you can't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stop